Hey traders, Nick here. Wanted to go over RIG, Transocean. RIG is the ticker. Recently was a big win for us. By chance, really, I have different friends who trade, and one of them, I can't remember who it was. I sent out a note to everybody thanking everybody. Nobody got back to me. Somebody brought it to my attention way early in the, I think right here, and said that it's looking frisky, and I said, okay, let's look at the chart, and we went long on several occasions because one pattern started looking like it's going to bring another and that's the point of this video. When I see patterns, can I chase them, can I not, how do I chase them, and where's the likely target? Ideally, but where likely. So anyway, ideally meaning from the pattern itself. So let's go through it. So somebody brought it to my attention on a breakout, so I looked at it and I thought, okay, the white line that I drew right here was the first gateway I saw because it was the neckline for several attempts, for several things. If I look left, it was a point of contention here, 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 here. So it lined up visually for me. I'm not a technician, let me preface that, but I put them to work very well for me. I am an engineer, so maybe I have the knack for this stuff, but I definitely am. You know, my lines are not accurate per technicians. Like I have friends that do this and nothing but this, draw lines, and this they probably scream at me 3 times on just this one line. So, but I saw the opportunity. So somewhere along here I said, okay, I'm going to jump the gun. Once it takes the white line, if it does take the white line, which was the point of contention, twice failures before, if they finally break over it, they're going to rally. And they did, and we had immediate profits, but it depends on where you scalped it or didn't scalp it. It gave it all back. Then bounced at exactly where it should bounce. I don't know if there was a dip in the general market or not, but it was a cheap enough bet via calls and call spreads, whoever. I took naked calls out in time, that the floor held, and they mounted another rally, and sure enough, they took out the neckline again on gap, and then it started rallying. So I said, okay, so let's zoom out and see what it looks like on a longer, higher time frame. And I did, and then I did the weeklies, probably. And it looked like it was going to be a bigger win than most people looked at, because that's the same chart, only on a weekly candle. So this, I drew this white line. It's not a typical, probably correct cup and handle, but the spirit is there, meaning they took a long time, they fell, and they took a long time, like a rounding bottom. They came to a neckline and failed miserably. They then, the bears pushed them down again and failed miserably compared to how well they did this time. And they rallied back towards the neckline. And I thought if they break this neckline, they would have, you know, technically they should be, they should overextend. So if somebody were to draw a proper cup and handle, this should be the distance from the neckline, potentially up from here, so higher. But for me, I stop short because I look left and see where are the stopover points. So once you clear that, that's the neckline. Another stopover, the next stopover point would be right here, which was right here. And I'll zoom back in to see if it did or didn't. And then another one would be somewhere here. That's visually, I'm looking at it. And sure enough, here we are. So let's see if we can get more clues. If I look left, this is where it's failing today. It hit 14. So I labeled the trade 14 or bust once I saw this white thing. But along the ways, there was like mini patterns. So the point is, if you see a pattern and you can take a cheap debit call spread or cheap calls on it, I would do it. And like right here, I knew that there was going to be a move up or down. I didn't know, and boom, it fell apart, and I got heat for it from a few people who have been chasing this pattern with me. And I thought to myself, you know what? There are 2 ways this can break out, the cup and handle and a descending trend line, that purple thing. And either way, I think they're going to pay out. Now, you know, I'm out of the trade, and I could reload, but I'd be a pig if I stayed long after this. This was like the funnest trade ever, and I just wanted to leave a good taste in my mouth. And I have other trades I can do, but this was the point of this video, is not to gloat, but to share levels and patterns and how I treat them. There were like 100 little things here that one could have traded, but for me, I wanted to chase that. And I thought to myself, okay, my risk was finite, and I was playing with house money, so These messages are probably because we're chasing another one today, thanks to another friend, which was RIOT. Big win in just minutes. Just got lucky. We traced it and it blew up. So the patterns are there. If I was in it, I would have closed somewhere around 14, I mean. So I said 14 or bust, but when it gets to 3, 4, 5, 6 cents of my goal, I was like, you know what? That's plenty nice. So, okay, so if I move this up to here, I could make the same argument on a cup and handle. So you see how you could have argued. And if you go down in time frame, you can probably find other opportunities. This is a 2-hour time frame. You can probably see mini this, mini that. But for me, I was just chasing this one candle, and I knew that there would be tough slog here because of this area right there. So that's where I drew my goal, even though the goal should have been a lot higher. Could still be a lot higher, but I'm happy with this. All right, so I did mention RIOT, so that's a stock I don't usually trade. I have traded it before, but since it became a headline stock, I got out. So I'm going to go to 240 minutes, so a couple hours as far as... So we were here somewhere, and somebody brought it to my attention. It was Antonio from Twitter. And I thought to myself, okay, so this breakout here has a couple of targets, and I looked left, and I drew 2 lines and bought calls. In fact, I also sold put spreads for next week. And in minutes, boom, 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 boom. Target 1 met, target 2 is on its way. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it right now. So I paid 35 cents for the calls. They immediately turned into 60 cents, and I haven't checked on them in the last 5 minutes, but you can see the price is rising as I'm doing this video. So lucky guess. Thank you, Antonio. That's a stock I don't usually have on my platform. I mean, I don't track, but I saw the node and I looked at the charts like, you know what? That's a pattern I can probably chase. All right, next signing out. If you have any questions, sellspreads@gmail.com.